Thomas Watson once said, "It is better to lack anything than it is to lack humility." What an awesome quote. Do you believe that? Lots of things that we complain about and we say, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. But if there's one thing that you don't want to lack, it's humility. It is better to lack anything. It's better not to have money. It's better not to have a house. It's better not to have a car. It's better not to have food. It's better to lack anything than it is to lack humility. Humility is that important. Now, how do we get it? 10 practical strategies. We're talking a lot about humility this year. 10 practical strategies. First, you need to get to know God. The only way that you can think much of yourself is if you think little of God. So you want to do everything you can to see how glorious God is. When you read the scripture, pray, God, please help me be in awe of you. Look for what is awesome about God in scripture. As you live your day, look around you. Look at all the things in this world that show you the greatness of God. And don't just look at them as facts. Be in all of them. Allow them to lead you to worship. If you want to be humble, first, get to know God. 2, get to know yourself. The only way that you can be proud is to be self-deluded, really. I mean, if you know yourself, you know that you are just a moment. Physically, you're only here for just a tiny period of time. You're dust, you're weak, you're getting older. But not only that, if you know yourself spiritually, you look at yourself, you see some of the weaknesses that are there, some of the sins that are there. If you're really looking at yourself honestly, you have every reason to be humble. So get to know yourself. And if you're proud, pray, God, please help me see myself for who I really am. 3, if you want to be humble, think a lot about the fact that you're going to die. My parents are getting older now. And sometimes when I look at people who are getting older, I just think, man, God is doing everything he can in our lives, even the way he sets it up as we get older and we get weaker and our minds start to not get it, they're not as strong as they used to be. All of that is intended as a help to us to humble ourselves. And there's probably hardly anything that should humble us more than just going to a funeral and realizing as we look in that coffin, that's going to be us. We're here, we're gone. We're a moment. Think about the fact that you're going to die. 4, spend time with godly people. Godly people are humble. And humble people humble you. And so if you're around proud people, it's not too surprising that you become a little bit proud. But if you're around humble people, they help you become humble. Find someone who's humble and spend a lot of time with them. 5, ask God for humility. I mean, how can we expect to be humble if we don't pray for it? God, please, this year, I believe it's better that I lack anything than humility, so please humble me. 5 or 6, remember every day how stupid it is to be proud. Preach the stupidity of pride to yourself. 7, think about how many things in your life that you have that are actually gifts from God that you take for granted. Proud people have big expectations, and it's very difficult to satisfy them. A humble person, he realizes he doesn't deserve anything but hell, and so he's just amazed every day he wakes up. I woke up. This is awesome. I have coffee. This is amazing. I have a family. Oh my goodness. And if that's not how you are, then you want to develop the discipline of noticing and recognizing how many things God's given to you. The fact that you can think, the fact that you can listen to this and understand what I'm saying, it's all a gift. 8, compare yourself to God. Compare yourself to Jesus Christ. So often we compare ourselves to other people, and so it's not surprising that we think we're awesome, but man, we need to come into the presence of God. I'll tell you what happened in the Bible when people saw God's glory? They're flat on their faces. What happened when Isaiah saw God? I mean, Isaiah, the holiest man in Israel at the time, was brought into the throne room of God, and he said, "Woe is me. Woe is me. Damn me," really. You're flat on your face when you see the glory of God, and you see the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. That's why we're spending so much time in the Gospels. And you just look at how Jesus treated people, his compassion, his right word at the right time. Spend time with Jesus. Jesus will humble you. 9, take an honest look at what you're calling good. A lot of the things that we're impressed by in our lives are not that impressive. If we just start looking into them a little, we'll see selfishness, we'll see wrong motives. 10, if you want to be humble, if you're going to pursue humble, 10th step, I mean, there's a lot more we could say, I'm sure, but 10th step, listen when people are rebuking you instead of making excuses. So many of us, we want an entourage. We want people around us who just tell us what we want to hear. And the people that don't tell us what we want to hear, we try to get them out of our lives. And instead of doing that, when people rebuke you, when people try to bring something to your attention that you need to grow, receive that as a gift and listen to what they're saying. Ask questions about what they're saying instead of just coming up with 1,000,001 self-defenses. We want to be humble, and if we're going to be humble, we need to take steps. These are just some suggestions, just some ideas. I'm sure you could come up with some better ones, but whatever you do, do something. Seek humility, pursue it, because, like Thomas Watson said, it is better to lack anything than to lack humility, because if you lack humility, if you truly lack humility, you don't have God. You don't know God.